What's up YouTube, Jay Travelini here, and today I'm going to talk about my rig that I just put together. Now this is an 8x6600 XT rig. Now it is currently in my basement mining Ethereum, and it consists of 3 of these 6600 XT Strix cards, 4 6600 XT Aces Dual, and then it also consists of 1 gigabyte Eagle edition. Now, these cards I bought and they're pretty good. I mean, pretty efficient cards. And we'll go inside the computer in 1 second. I'll show you guys my overclocks. Now, it does vary a little bit because I had some that had Micron memory and a bunch that had Samsung. Obviously, the Samsung memory performed a little bit better. We'll look at the rig, how it's performing, the wattage that it's estimated it's pulling at the wall. I mean, it's fairly close because when I hook it up to my PDU and read the amps, it came in under 3 amps. Now it's pretty close, and my 12 GPU rig of a 6600s and 6600 XTs pulled about 3 amps at the wall also. Eventually I will get a watt meter installed so I can get more accurate readings. But let's go inside the computer, we'll run some numbers. I'll run a quick break-even analysis based on what I have, close to what I have invested into this rig. I didn't input it onto Excel because I bought these from various sources at various different prices. So I just got an average of what I paid and what I have invested in parts onto the rig on top of the cards. That was a little bit harder for me to estimate because I reused parts from another rig since I sold all my 580s. I had the motherboard and power supplies left over and risers, so I really didn't have to go repurchasing them. I did upgrade the risers though to 8 capacitor risers instead of the 4 capacitor ones. Didn't need to, but I had them already, which I purchased from AliExpress pretty cheap. So let's go inside the computer, we'll look at some numbers. Now here's a rig inside of my Hive OS. Now these are the numbers. Now you can see the overclocks. I was at 1130 to 1135 on some of them. And I had to bring them down a little bit. You'll see like my Micron one at 1020, this one at 1050 on my Microns. Now Microns, I started at 1050 and saw how they did. You also see my core up a little bit more on a few of them, just to try and give them a little bit more power and a little bit more juice, and my core voltage up a little bit. Now this one seems to be my least performer of the bunch at 30.47 megahash at 54 watts. That's still much better than what, in my opinion, than what my 580s were doing. The total system power right now, it's saying 520 watts. Now I'd add a little bit to that, and I'd probably say after system power and risers and everything, I'm probably closer to 600 watts at the wall. It is on Team Red Miner. I do have one card because I have had this running for about 6 days now. One card is running and it has 74 invalid shares. So I did dial back my memory slightly. It wasn't crashing, but I may up the core a little bit to see if that helps also with this. Lowering the memory slightly slowed down the invalid shares, but maybe I need to give it just a little bit more power. My best performer looks like it's this one at 51 watts at 32.23 megahash. I could tweak the power a little bit more, try and get it down some, but I left it pretty much where it's at for now. They're all running really solid. And when I first built this rig, I had a lot of stability issues with overclocks. The motherboard was giving me issues, so I had to update the BIOS, but I finally got it stable and it's been running. So I couldn't even get this rig running for more than a day when I first booted it. When I first put it together, I couldn't even get it running for an hour. It just kept crashing, but I finally got it stable. So I really don't want to mess with it too much. But like I have these two here at 57 watts. I may try and pull the power down slightly, but like I said, it's been stable, so I don't want to mess with it. I have an issue with messing with these rigs and completely knocking them unstable. But you can see It's just that one card getting all the rejected shares. Now that also could be a bad riser. I could try swapping that out and see if that fixes it. But for now, I'm just going to leave it, because if we look at my overall percentage, it's over 99%. So I don't want to keep pushing it too much. And if we look at the card, it's had over 4,000 accepted shares. So I don't want to go just like messing with it, because it's still running really well. Now, if we bring up my calculator here, this is roughly what I have invested into this rig. Now, the GPU prices I had pretty accurate, but the hardware prices I didn't really have too accurate. I kind of just estimated what I had paid for them when I bought my 580 rig. I bought it as a complete rig, so I didn't really buy the stuff separate. But we're going to use this price as far as my ROI. Now, if we go in here and we look at, I'm getting, we'll say 253 mega hash. So, and we'll say it's saying 520. I'm going to go with 620 watts just to be a little safe. 13 cents per kilowatt hour is about what I pay. So I'm going to leave that and calculate it. So this rig is pulling 956 per day revenue at 0.0036 coins per day. Now I'm also after electric 762. Now if we look at Ethereum, the price that's calculating is just under 2,700 per coin. It is down slightly over how it's been hovering, but let's calculate it at $7.62. So if we divide this by $7, what I say, $7.62. Now, before I hit equal, I'm expecting this to be well over a year ROI, which is well past when ETH is supposed to be proof of stake. So this rig will most likely go on Ethereum Classic after that. 576 days. I'm pushing almost 2 years, a year and a half to 2 years ROI on this rig. Now, I knew that before I built this, but we'll go through it. So that's my newest rig, actually. I have another temporary rig I'm about to put together with Founders Editions. I'll make a video of that shortly. But this rig, I knew this before going into it because I ran some numbers based on rough overclocks of what other people were getting. That when I put this together and the price that I'm paying for these cards, it's gonna pretty much be well over a year until this rig gets me my return on investment. Now, that's if I were to be selling the Ethereum right now. If I were to wait and just build the coins up and sell it when it peaks again at over 4K, this rig will pretty much pay itself off in well under a year. Because when I run the ROI numbers, it's pretty much just based on the market price today. People need to try and understand that, because if they're just holding the coin, the ROI is not going to matter as much as how many coins you're getting. You really want to time your sells and try and maximize your profits that way also, especially when you're mining. Now, this rig and why I put it together is because of how efficient these cards can be. You see them mining at 55 watts in the software, so probably roughly 65-ish watts at the wall after riser power and everything. That's why I bought these cards. So when I switch them over to Ethereum Classic, they're pretty much going to keep all the same overclocks and run pretty much the same. And they're all 8 gigabyte cards, so they're going to be able to mine Ethereum Classic for a long time. Now, Ethereum Classic obviously wouldn't be as profitable, but I can also mine it much longer than 2 years. So I think this rig's going to pay for itself in the long run. Maybe 2, 3, 4 years down the road, when it's still, if it's still running, is when it's really going to be at its peak and just making me money. I think that's when it's going to become a cash cow for me. It's not going to be making me millions of dollars, but I think that's when it's going to really shine. Once it's all ROI and paid off, it's when I think it's worth it to build it. Now, if you're looking to build it today, just keep that in mind of that long ROI time. Now, this isn't in mining in general, but don't build it thinking it's going to pay itself off in under a year and then you can just sell the hardware and make money. That's not going to happen with this rig. But you know, If you guys have 6600 XT rigs, let me know if you have different overclocks, if you had different experiences with it, if you liked them, or if you think it wasn't worth building, write in the comments below. But thanks for checking this video out. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more.